politics, and the hardball all in one show. Stay tuned. We're bringing it to you. Coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Myrtle Beach Herald. We're focused on the 11th annual American Heartball to be held Saturday, February 5th, and we're visiting with the co-chairman of the sponsorship committee, the Honorable Luke Rankin. Good morning, Luke.
Good morning. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for coming in. I didn't point out that you're the state senator serving District 33, entirely included in Horry County, and you reach a heck of a lot of our viewers.
Well, very good. It's a fast-growing county, and my district is one of the fastest-growing districts in the state.
Is that right, Luke?
Tight geographical area because we've got so many folks in Carolina Forest, Myrtle Beach, and the Conway area. It's a booming spot, as well as Socastee.
I think you and I talked earlier before we started filming that you've got 3 other senators that reach into Horry County, but you're entirely included in Horry.
That's right, which is a great blessing because I don't have to travel to 5 different counties to go to various city and county council meetings and boards and commission meetings. It's nice to be solely an Horry boy.
Yes, your constituents, it obviously can touch you and feel you a lot more than those other folks.
That's right.
Who really make it difficult. What's this been like, Luke, growing up in Horry County and obviously spending virtually your entire life here other than college and law school, and then being back here but continuing to travel back and forth to Columbia? Did you just love that travel?
Oh, the travel is wonderful. I can sleep on the Quimby cut through 95 to 20 and then getting off either on 77 or going down to Bull Street for variety's sake.
Wow.
You could sleep through that trip. The difference now in this county to the new viewers and those who are vacationing here or may come for weekend visits, and when I grew up, I finished Conway High School in 1980. Dramatic difference. It's a night and day difference. In fact, the population has doubled since 1980, and we'll likely do it again at the next census in the year 2010. It's a fast-growing area. People that are from towns you may have heard of long ago, but you never had to pronounce them, are now very, very common. And so it's a great place to be. We attract more and more people who come to vacation here. I mean, the North Carolina, South Carolina coastal section and into the western part of the state, it's a dynamic place to be. Hurricanes, that's really the only kind of negative to us right here.
We want to talk to Chad about that tomorrow. Chad Prosser will be with us, and obviously in prepping for his interview tomorrow, we wanted to have a chance to talk with you about Senate and House reconvening, I think on the 11th, in about 12 days, 13
days. That's right.
Days.
We are on the cusp of another legislative session, which promises to be yet another newsworthy time. Hopefully there'll be some good news that'll come out of the General Assembly, hopefully in the Senate as well. Particularly school start issues.
Yes.
We have just witnessed North Carolina adopting a school start time frame, August 25th being the time before which no school can start its school year. There's certain exceptions to that, snow or weather exceptions, but hopefully, as we've now seen North Carolina do just recently, what we in the Senate and the House have been trying to do for the last 2 years will be an easier sell.
Now, Luke, does North Carolina make it very clear the reason they're doing this is travel and tourism?
Without a doubt. Their governor, Governor Easley, who just won re-election apparently convincingly, in his press conference announcing the signing of that bill, touted the tourism as the reason for it, not with a detriment or a cost to the schools or the school children which they serve. Parents want this, and he recognized it in North Carolina, as I hope our General Assembly and Governor will hear, that this is a parental, family-first type initiative that doesn't cost, that doesn't sacrifice the quality education that our school kids will get. Horry County, a great example. We're the last starting school district of 80-plus districts across the state, and we test well. We're in the top 20, if not 10% of the schools across the state in school districts and how we test on the PAC test and the other standardized yardsticks that we look at. We start last and we finish with everybody else.
Wow.
We have a more compact calendar, and we get it done, and our kids are doing great. So hopefully we'll be the model.
Those are great points.
Model for the rest of the state to show that it can be done, and it advances our tourism interest here, which is, as you know, and I say over and over, and as Chad will say tomorrow, tourism is the #1 industry in the state. Used to be manufacturing, used to be farming, agriculture. Tourism is it. And we need to grow this industry so that it will benefit all the people across this state.
Are you finding your brethren in the House and in the Senate from Horry, Georgetown areas are really helping sell the story as well? Are they making sure that folks throughout the state, and you've got some newbies coming on in the very near future, first-timers?
We really do have some new folks coming, but those that may not have been as enamored with this idea over the last 2 years, I think, have seen the impact, recognize the threat to your North Carolina viewers or that North Carolina poses to our state and to our industry here, and have heard from their local families and businesses that we've got an artificial cutoff date to what you and I grew up in with a traditional summer.
Right.
That is mandated simply because of a test, the PAC test, that every school district wants to have as early a start in preparing for that test, which is administered in May. And so they cut their summers out. Some school districts starting as early as August 2nd, August 5th.
Throughout the
South
summer
Carolina,
the state.
you look around parts of the state, it's incredible how early some of these school districts start. So the local delegation, Horry and Georgetown, I think is, if not outright, we're close to unanimous in our support of this.
Great. A lot of other big things on the horizon, and we sure look forward to talking about some of those. But, of course, our big focus is the 11th Annual American Hardball. February 5th, it's getting close. And, of course, when you break down an event like that and folks hear $150 a ticket, they think, golly, that's a lot of money. But when you remember what it's all about.
Well, and the goal as well. Last year's goal of $252,000, or actually exceeded last year's goal in raising that amount. And the goal this year of $285,000, $150 is not a lot to ask for, particularly with the #1 cause of death to the folks of Horry, Georgetown County being heart-related or stroke incidents. So we've got an acute need here to grow this research for the American Heart Association. 11 years it's been going. I'm honored to be asked to be the co-chair. I've been to a number of them and seen folks from all walks in the community there joining hands financially, I guess, to support research and development for an area that hits us directly.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited about it, and I hope that this year's goal will be eclipsed by many, many thousands of dollars.
Yes, let's hope so, Luke. For all the folks involved, it's such an exciting night, and you make what such a strong point there that heart disease and stroke do not discriminate. They don't discriminate on race, on sex. It goes after everyone. As you said, I think 35% of the folks in Horry and Georgetown are affected by heart disease. Another 10% affected by strokes are killed by heart disease or stroke. So almost half of the population in these two counties their lives are taken by heart disease and stroke. That is something worthy of everyone coming together on.
And as you say, it doesn't discriminate. I see it professionally. I see it with people who can't work. I see it with my neighbors in terms of those who are in the business of helping, and be they cardiologists or in the nursing community. My babysitter, Jessie Bousquet, works with a cardiology group. I hear tales of woe from her about folks that she sees, the patients that she sees. All families have had somebody with an incident of heart disease or a stroke, and this money and this goal is not wasted. We hear problems with maybe bad apple groups that don't spend the money wisely. You never hear that about the American Heart Association. And it's nice to see so many people recognize the efficiently run charity and the benefit that they get on their dollars. So
absolutely.
Hopefully, as you say, that recognition that it hits everybody will continue to draw people to try to find a cure and help for it.
And for an event, of course, with the occasions playing, you know, Elaine Thompson, one of the co-chairs with Chief Judge Wilson and Glenna McIntyre were with us. I guess she was with us 2 weeks ago, and we wanted to get her to sing some of hum a couple bars to "I'm a Girl Watcher." She wouldn't do it.
I think Ralph Wilson,
get you to do that.
Judge Wilson's husband will be singing that, but I think Judge Wilson will be paying a substantial amount of money for maybe that not to happen.
Yeah, that's
but,
right.
It's an exciting group. I grew up listening to them. Look forward to seeing them do the Love Machine and all these fun songs.
Are you a shagger?
If you look at me from the waist up, I would be a
right.
shagger. If you look below, I'm not sure if it's 1, 2, 3 kick step or 1, 2, 3 kick fall. But,
oh my God, that's dangerous. Those are dangerous words. Well, you know, it's so exciting, and of course, you bring up that aspect. Both as a parent, I mean, you think about things for making sure your children are trained up in a certain way. As a child, you know, your parents themselves, you're concerned about heart disease and stroke hitting their lives and having an impact on their lives, and obviously making that effort to continue to raise funds to make sure that it doesn't hit them as early as it may, or that it doesn't hit them at all.
Well, and we hear all the things about diet and how that is important, and certainly it is. Exercise, certainly that's important. Genetics, though, that being apparently one of the prime precursors or indicators for whether you're going to have an incident of heart disease or not. Genetically speaking, if you look, if you've had it in your past, you're more apt to have it now or in the next generation. And so as a father of two, certainly I want to make it a better time for my children once they turn my age, and hopefully we can crack the genetic code of that disease. And it's exciting to see how they do it and what they do. And again, from the local standpoint, why we need to encourage them to do that, and for the research to continue, and the education as well.
Absolutely.
From a diet standpoint and an exercise standpoint. My son's in Cub Scouts, and we a couple of weeks ago, we had a part of the night was spent on the food triangle.
Oh, yeah. Cool.
And we had to cut out things from the newspaper. Crystal Brown is the local den leader of our group, and we had to cut out things to put in this food triangle. Again, not directly educational support from the American Heart Association, but to try to educate young people. My son will be 7 on the 11th, or rather the 18th of
next
January.
Month. Yeah, just 2.5 weeks from now. Luke, you better get on board. That's right.
He's got the triangle down. Now, he may want to eat everything at the bottom of the triangle, but anyway.
Train up a child in the way he should go. That's right. It's such an important time now. And, you know, and I'm so glad you pointed out that other aspect of heart disease not discriminating is that you're working with so many others. We see letters with you and Greg Hembry, you and Andy Gresco, you and others going out there, all of y'all with that same goal of fighting heart disease and stroke. You know, when you've got so many things on your mind as a dad, as a representative of so many folks in Horry County to the state senate, one of, I guess, 46 state senators. I mean, when you are constantly going, as well as trying to stay in good shape, how do you go about doing it all to make sure your day is managed well as representing all of your clients, Luke?
Well, it's I don't need a whole lot of sleep, but I'm able to. I don't play golf. I don't do a lot of things that might be more fun to do, but I'm kind of a juggler, I guess, and so far I haven't dropped too many of the airborne balls that I'm involved with. So this is a good cause. Serving the people is a good cause. Being elected certainly is an honor to me, and being able to represent for 4 years all folks, all walks of life within Horry County, the area in my district. And so it's an honor to be asked to co-chair this with Greg Hembry, and knowing the work that's gone on before with Judge Wilson and Andy Gresco and his wife. And you've got some new folks on this committee. Yes. Billy Jackson and his wife Celeste there. I noticed her name on here. And these are passionate people directly involved from a professional standpoint. Absolutely. For them, but also recognizing that the community can do more than just treat these problems. They've got to try to hit them head on and fix them if they can be.
Right.
So,
Luke, speaking of fixing things, a lot of things have happened. Of course, we want to talk about that one aspect. Over the last 12 months, a lot of your life has shifted, at least in your political party. That was a big thing, and I want you to share with viewers how you went through that. I know painstaking process to make sure there was the right decision for Horry County, and it looks like in the end it was, or is, and will continue to be as things continue to strengthen, as well as some key things other than school start date, some other things that we may need to be thinking about, and if viewers need to be involved, what can they do to help?
Well, it's the decision to go from the Democratic to the Republican Party was a long decision, and every time that I was elected, starting in '92, the Republicans asked me to join, and that to me is a compliment in that they recognize that I wasn't a party-only person, but I was issue-specific. And bottom line, it's what can grow Horry County that has been my loyalty, not party bosses.
Right.
The decision I telecast, or I don't know if that's the right word, but at least I didn't hide the fact that I was weighing the decision of what to do again, being to run for my fourth term. In April, before filing was opened, I decided that I would switch parties. I announced that in January, that I was in that mode of, one, am I running again? Two, if so, under which party? Most have affirmed me in that decision. I've heard from some that did not like it, but it has been much more the exception than the rule. And whereas a 53 or 54% margin of victory in the last three races, this one was a little bit better than that. And so the public has affirmed me in that way. But they don't look at me, I think, as a Republican or a Democrat.
Sure.
But they look at me as somebody who hopefully will ask hard questions, be thoughtful about the issues, and try to vote in the best interest of all involved. So it's an honor to be involved in politics, and the decision to switch parties has been an overall positive decision.
What are some big things on the forefront over the next? We got about 9 minutes, Luke. Time's flying. And of course, real quick, if a viewer wanted to learn more about you, if they need to run off to work now, it's about 7:20. If they needed to get out of the house, is there a good number number to give you a call, to even give you some hints about potential sponsors for the Hardball?
Certainly, they can call the office at 843-248-2405.
Okay.
Or they can call the office in Columbia, 803-212-6132.
Okay.
The local Conway number for sponsorships, of course.
Right.
If they see me at the Bi-Lo or at Walmart or wherever I might happen to be, if I can help the Heart Association, they can certainly buttonhole me there.
Sure.
The office, though, they can call about politics as well.
Right.
Conway or Myrtle Beach.
And your law office there, this is Rankin and Rankin.
That's
firm
right.
That your dad, I guess, started. And
My father started long ago in the 50s, and he basically retired, and I cajoled and, I won't say tricked him, but asked him to become of counsel, so that it wouldn't be just little old Luke Rankin out there, but Rankin and Rankin. And it's an honor to my father in all that he has done as both an attorney and as a judge and as a father.
Absolutely. So. And I'm sure it's an honor to you to have him involved.
Well, he doesn't get to come in the office now.
Oh, my God, you lock him out.
Decided early on, though, that he was going to be locked out himself, but if I need him, I know where to go get him.
Yes, that's hilarious. 5 minutes. Let's highlight some of the things that are upon us and of course, we'll wrap with the Heart Association, but some of the things in front of us. I know recently I've seen some good quotes of yours or some thoughts about protecting the citizens of Horry and Georgetown, as well as the entire coastal communities, as well as, I guess, the entire state, since Santee Cooper sells power to everyone. What are some of the issues going on with Santee Cooper right now? Well,
the question has come up of late with the firing of the chairman of the board, who used to be the director of Santee Cooper, Graham Edwards, and unfortunately it's become a flashpoint of concern that harkens back about a year ago when some new board members were coming before the Senate for confirmation. And the question that I've asked every appointee, be they Governor Sanford's, Governor Hodges, Governor Beasley's, every time anyone comes that is offered by the governor to serve on that board, I ask them, what are your intentions about privatization? What are your thoughts on selling Santee Cooper? there's a misperception that this is a pure state agency like Department of Mental Health or Department of Education, where taxpayer funds provide that agency's existence. There's no dollar from the state that goes to Santee Cooper. It was created in the 30s by legislation that allowed us to go borrow money from the WPA back when Roosevelt was, I think, in office as a president. It is a self-funded, self-sustaining, and highly rated public utility. And the concern is that we've just seen of late with a investment bond rating company, Fitch, downgrading the view of stable to negative. And what is important here is the 140,000 direct customers in our Horry, Georgetown district, as well as upwards of 1 million to 1.4 million co-op customers across the state. Stable utility rates. We don't want another Enron in South Carolina with no competition from a public and the private sector. We want affordable rates that will allow us to draw industries down here. Tourism is it, without a doubt. But in other parts of the low country, Alcoa, a big customer of Santee Cooper, our own steel mill here in Georgetown, big customers of. And so it's an important competitive tool that allows us, one, to keep industries and attract them. And so the concern is that there's maybe just too much politics going on. And we as a General Assembly are going to have to determine what is the focus. Do we want to privatize? Do we want to sell Santee Cooper? And the board members are the people who steer this group historically. And it's been historically a very apolitical group. And now the question is, with support of local economic concerns, contributions from Santee Cooper to its service area of locally supported efforts, be it Brook Green Gardens or NISA or any number of things, there's been a shift away from, it appears, our customers and the service area to getting more money out of Santee Cooper to either balance the budget of the state or to fund other agencies. So that's my concern, and I hope that people will be attuned to that and will watch this process, and hopefully we'll move cautiously in the General Assembly to determine where we're going. Again, do we want to sell it? Do we want to privatize it? Certainly I don't, but I'm one voice of a handful up there, and I just want to call attention now to what appears to be a concern to our ratepayers here in Horry and Georgetown.
And Luke, for the viewers who may not bump into you by Lower Walmart, they can easily call you again, your Conway office, or call you in Columbia to express their views on that, to give you support, to give you a powwow, any of their thoughts. That's the 843-248-2405 number there in Conway, or the 803 number. You know, there's so many aspects. We've just got a couple of minutes, and obviously Santee Cooper, I'm so glad you opened up on that, as well as some of the other aspects about the school start date. And I know there's so many things that you do on a regular basis. For viewers who may not understand what that's like going now into your fourth term, and these are 4-year terms. So you've been, as you said, traveling not only for the last 12 plus years as a state senator, but again, those 7 years you attended college and then law school there at the University of South Carolina. You've really made a huge commitment here, Luke.
Well, if I always ask people, or preface my request for their vote by saying, if I'm foolish enough to offer for re-election and you're foolish enough to vote for me, I'll go do it. But now, hopefully, folks see that their vote was not a foolish vote and that my service has not been foolish or foolhardy. But it is a sacrifice somewhat, but it's one that I choose and one that I'm honored to have. And it's a good way to be in touch with people. I can't make all people happy, and on any number of issues I may have my friends that are just not real happy with me. But I think overall it's a noble effort. If you can't serve those people who vote, I applaud them for last month standing in these long lines in Horry County. It's just a great testament to the democratic process. Jury duty, voting, or going to war.
You got it.
Those are the 3 areas where, in a democratic society, that you get to do and fulfill your duty. to be elected is an even higher honor, and I recognize that.
And a huge duty. You know, John Jenrette was with us about 9 months ago, and he pointed out that a very important aspect. If someone didn't run, government shuts down. We do not have our democracy. I mean, the democracy can't operate without folks giving up that time, without making that commitment.
And some would like various parts of government to shut down. And it's an ongoing debate, a philosophical debate about where we are. Right. Are we producing the best return for the folks of our area? And so hopefully we continue to do that in South Carolina and in Horry County.
I think you are. Thanks so much for being with us this morning, Luke.
Thank you. Merry New Year to you.
That's right, absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with the Honorable Luke Rankin coming up next. You know, you don't get that chance often to sit down with your state senator. He makes that effort. He makes that effort. Whether your state senator is in Marlboro or Marion County, it's a he or a she. Our state senator here in Myrtle Beach, who serves virtually this entire county, Luke Rankin, gives you his direct number. He says give him a call, 843-248-2405, not only so he can help you fight heart disease and stroke, not only so he can help you bring you up to date on Santee Cooper or school start dates or anything going on in your community, but because he wants to touch and feel you. He wants to be a part of your life. You've asked him to do that. You've made that effort. Whether you voted for him or not, he's the majority vote. He takes that to represent folks from Horry County. You know, we didn't get to talk to Luke about growing up in Conway in the 70s. We didn't get to talk to him about a typical day in Columbia representing our interests, but we did get to hear him talk about lawyers and doctors and lay people and others coming together to fight the #1 and #3 killer in America. He's making that effort as sponsorship co-chairman with Andy Gresco and Greg Hembry and others, but the commitment is there all year round to fight for others, to fight for others. Give him a call. He wants to hear from you.